By the way, I and some others obviously troll because they want to get some reaction. Yeah, like, so here's the thing, right? Like, I let myself get triggered because it creates, you know, seemingly emotional volatility, which makes the stream more interesting. It'd be way more, you get what I'm saying? Y'all like, hey, I trolled him. Some of y'all think that, right? It's like, I let myself get into these rises. I don't know how to explain this to you. It's almost like it's like we're playing tennis, right? Or ping pong or whatever. I like tennis as an analogy better. You know, you're like, he's angry. It's like, no, dude. You hit the ball hard. I hit it back equally hard. I'm partly hitting it back hard because you hit it hard, and that's just how physics works, right? But I'm also hitting it hard because the rally, even though we're at each other's throats and we're hitting the ball hard and we're making the other person run, the rally is enjoyable, right? And here's the thing, even more so when you consider if you have an audience, which is the chat, right? That repartee, that back and forth, that duel is enjoyable, right? You get what I'm saying? It feels like there's higher emotional stakes. It makes it more engaging. You sitting there thinking, hey, I won. It's like, dude, no. You're helping me make content, which is fine, right? Some of you unintentionally so. But, like, I have to channel these ups and downs. I'm telling you, y'all don't understand. I have tailored it so much to the game because the base me would just sit there and let you be wrong and nod and say, agreed, just to shut you up. The base me sits at Thanksgiving dinner while Kait's brother is arguing with her grandfather about Trump versus fucking Kamala. And I'm just like, all right. And they go, Nick, what do you think? I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention to politics. That's not interesting for stream, though. You get it? Like, if you go, hey, you're greedy. And I'm just like, yep. And I move on, emotionally unaffected. That's not fun. It doesn't give us an opportunity to talk about it. Right? The turbulence is interesting. My wife is an interesting person. Sometimes I wonder a little bit. I'm like, but look, here's, okay, I'll be real with you guys for a second, okay? Sometimes she says shit and I'm just like, is this a joke? What am I supposed to do with this information? And there's a part of me that wants to say, please do not talk about this. It's not interesting to me. It's not entertaining. And it kind of makes me feel like you're not able to interpret reality correctly. But at the same time, I don't let myself say anything negative about it, because ultimately, if that was ever a concern, I would want her to feel open and free to talk to me about stuff, because otherwise it could go really off the reservation, as what happened with the divorce tent earlier this year. It's silly to say this, but I'm pretty sure that never would have happened if I wasn't so flippantly dismissive when she was going off on her psychosis-induced conspiracy theory shit. Like, I was super like, nope, what the fuck? And then she stopped talking to me about that stuff, and it just compounded. if you Google it, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of people who, when they are on Adderall or Vyvanse or some kind of, amphetamine for prolonged periods of time, an unknown trigger may cause them to experience symptoms of psychosis. Now, here's the scary part. Obviously, if they stop using the drug for a period of time, it goes away. But it's unclear if it's one of those things like, this is a terrible comparison, but it's like, is it like having herpes, where once you got it, it'll just come back occasionally? And it's hard to do that study because it's hard to really gauge what people are doing over prolonged periods of time and whether something else is causing it versus merely that it happened and so now it'll reoccur occasionally. No, I mean, she didn't mean to do that. That was the psychosis-induced craziness. You have to understand, okay, like, actually, okay, I'm going to talk about this and then we're going to go to bed. In the time we were doing divorce tint, the time that she filed for divorce for me was less than 60 days from the break-in where I saved her life. Isn't that crazy? Is that a little crazy to y'all? Is that a little crazy to y'all? I'm still blaming her, fucking hell. Bro. Yes! Yes! Are you fucking kidding me, bro? What are you talking about? Are you yeah, fuck it, dude. I'm about to just ban you. Because you're so fucking retarded that it's just not even work. Like, at first it was like, oh, cool, this gives me a chance to address this. And now you're just fucking so retarded that we're like, we're, what is it called? It's just regressive now, right? Yes, of course. Think about it, dude. Think about this for a second, okay? In the time before the break-in, she was having more free time, and I was working as much as I had been working on the business side of things, okay? I had gotten over $1 million of sponsored programs lined up, okay? And then in an instant, it went to zero because she just didn't want to do it. And I was perfectly okay with that. And that's a really crazy thing when you think about how much work goes into setting those things up for you to just be okay with the other person just, flippantly saying, I don't want to. It's like, okay, all right? And so you can't even say that, like, there's any, because, like, after 22, I never pressured her to do, I didn't even pressure her pre-22. But, like, after 22, I never even fucking gave a rationale if she said she didn't want to do something. Okay? And so you can't even point to that. I just saved her life, right? And the reason why I'm telling you that 100% it's her fault is because, listen, go back and watch those clips, bro. She was arguing that, well, maybe I wanted her dead. I just fucking risked my life to save your life. What the fuck are we talking about? If I wanted you dead, I just wouldn't go out there. What? And then she fucking thought I was a vampire. I don't know, bro. Whose fault is that? I don't even seem particularly vampire-y. She thought I was a vampire, and she thought I was plotting to kill her. Whose fault is that? And I'm not even saying it's her fault, right? Just to be super nuanced, I blame her for having led to those things happening, mainly in my opinion, because after the incident, she did not and refused, without me actually knowing it at the time, to do any PTS therapy. Because we'd recommend therapists, we'd schedule the session. She would hop on the call or skip the call entirely. She'd hop on the call and then never go back to that person, or skip the call entirely, but not say that she had skipped the call. And so she was getting zero PTS therapy. And that's the thing, right? Like, what causes that psychosis? Who the fuck knows? But I suspect that is when emotional distress is very high and you're on Vyvanse. That's my pet theory. But whatever the cause, she did have that. And so the blame would be that she didn't communicate and that she didn't go to the therapy that she led us to believe that she went to. That's A. Okay. And then B is that she got lost in the sauce, essentially, of, like, I mean, like, the reason she even induced into that was, fuck, dude, it's such a crazy story. After the break-in, but before the divorce tent, there was a crazy period of time when, and some of y'all remember this, especially if you're her viewer, whether you admit it or not, you know this to be true. There was a period of time when she just went down the deepest of rabbit holes watching conspiracy videos. And that's not even fully resolved. She still kind of does that, just not like she did during that time period. Okay? No, it's not sleep deprivation at all. That's not part of it. I can explain why, but it's just not worth it. So she was going down these deep rabbit holes, right? I don't know if y'all remember this. But, and then I didn't really think anything of it because I thought, oh, you know what I thought? I thought she was doing what I do nowadays. Which is what? Which is I seem like I'm super emotionally invested in the one guys in chat, right? But I'm doing it because, to be perfectly honest, I have no other content in that moment. If I had other content, I mean, y'all have seen this too. This is how you know I'm telling the truth. There are times when I just don't fucking even read chat because I'm talking about something that's important or that I find impassioned and I think it's interesting. And then there's times that one guy. I'm one guying because I don't have one of those impassioned long spiels to go on. I don't have a crazy IRL activity that I'm trying to do. I'm not traveling. You know what I'm saying? I let myself get one guide because it's better than the alternative of not having that emotional rise and having nothing going on. And so I thought, well, maybe she's like allowing herself to look like she's getting into the rabbit hole of these conspiracy theories because it raises emotional stakes and builds engagement. That's what I thought at first, right? Until the night before, 2 nights before our 36-hour fight, I had to go downstairs. I said, hey, are you ready for bed? And it's like 3 or 4 a.m. and she normally was like really tired at the time, but she's like super wired. She was just like, let me just finish watching this video. I was like, okay. I go upstairs, didn't think anything of it. She finishes watching the video, and then I come down and she goes, okay, yeah, I'll go to bed. And then so she logs off stream, okay? And then we go to bed, and we're laying in bed, and she's like just in a manic state. She's like, and the meat industry is putting this in the food, and you know the water filtration, it doesn't catch the fluoride, and I'm just like, I'm laying in bed, I'm just like, she's just laying there like this. She's like laying there like just talking and gesturing like fast. Okay? And I'm like, huh? And then I tell her, hey, look, I'm really tired. Can we talk about this tomorrow? And she says, sure. And then I remember before falling asleep looking over, and she's just like this. Okay. Next morning, we wake up. I'm thinking everything's normal now, right? And notice she's like, I gotta call my dad. And I was like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, she's in her walk-in closet, which is behind the bedroom, and she's talking to her dad, and I can hear just little bits and pieces of it's like, and the meat industry and you know, I think they're putting this in the water, and I'm just like, holy fuck. What the fuck is that? Right? And then that night, same thing as the previous night, but worse. She was like going, and I'm laying in bed. I'm like, yo, can we like not today? And this time, instead of just agreeing to not, she just kept going. And eventually I just fell asleep. And that was the next day when I woke up, was the day of reckoning. Okay? Because the employees came to me and said, Kait is acting weird. And I was like, huh? And I was like, where is she? And they're like, oh, she's in the studio downstairs. And I was like, okay. So I go in the studio. I walk into the studio. And she comes right up to me and goes, tell me you love me. I was like, I love you. She goes, why'd you inflect upwards? I said, sorry, I love you. And she goes, you're lying. I was like, what? And she goes, you're wearing glasses. I was like, okay. I take them off. And she goes, say it again. I go, I love you. She goes, faster. I love you. Like, you know, say it like you mean it. I love you. You know, like on and on and on and on. And then finally I was like, why are we doing this? And she straight up tells me, I am trying to save your soul. I was like, what? And she goes, the rapture is happening. I was like, what? And she goes, we have to baptize the dogs. I was like, no. I was like, no, we're not going to baptize any pets. Because in my mind, you know, too many horror movies, right? I was just like, baptize the kids. How does that end up? Not so great. And that's what kicked off the divorce tint. Because her conniving... How much do I want to reveal here? A conniving party, two conniving parties, for whatever reason, chose that moment to convince her to file for divorce, and that they would make it super easy by handling all the paperwork. They took advantage of her in that state. And to some extent, both of them had to know that she was in the state. They didn't know it as clearly as I did, having seen all that. But like, she told one of them that she thought I was a vampire. It was the lawyer. And he said, that's crazy. I saw the text. It's like, I was like, and he didn't say like, that's crazy, like you're crazy. He meant like, damn. It's wild that he's a vampire. Like, he didn't disagree. He didn't say, are you okay? You mean figuratively, right? You mean figuratively he's a vampire, right? No, he's just like, God damn. Married to a vampire. You know? And the other one was there for the baptize the dogs comment, so I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Bro, that ain't normal. Why would you... Could you imagine someone who's acting in a altered state and you go, by the way, do you want to make some life-changing decisions like right now? Hamajang, you are parasocial as fuck and a simp. You have a semi-successful stream. Why are you fixating on another streamer? You mean my wife? Is that who you mean? My bad. I know that you see her only as a streamer, but to me, I see her more as my wife than as a streamer. So why don't you go fuck your own face? All of what I just told you is true. I've moved past that. It is what it is, you know? But that made that period incredibly hard. Holy shit. We found the crazy person in chat. CXN, she's not wrong though. The veil was lifted earlier this year. That's why AI went off. Now that those fallen angels, also known as aliens, plan to take over. What the fuck? Yes, that's the type of bullshit she would say. Exactly. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I still don't know how to really handle that. The only thing I can do is be receptive so that I can hear it in the hopes that hearing it will also give me an indication when things are even less right. It's not that I don't have a spiritual belief. It's that the moments that are chosen to talk about it are weird. Like that guy right there, he goes, she's right, you know. The blah, 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 blah of the angels and the demons. It's like, dude, if what you're saying is correct and everything is a battle between good and evil spiritually, okay. But how the fuck does that change anything in your physical life other than the fact that you have extra motivation to not succumb to choices that are inherently bad? What is the fixation on the angels and demons part? Whether that's figurative or actual, isn't the treatment the same? Right? That's why when people go, no, it's definitely true, it's like, bro, what? I'm not saying the consequence of that being true means we should act different. I'm just saying, why is that the moment you bring it up, knowing that most people are going to act that way, whether that version is represented or the secular version? I just don't get the fixation. She was not prescribed antipsychotics. That's the thing, man. She snapped out of it, but there's still moments where I raise my eyebrow figuratively. One of them even happened today while we were watching Zootopia 2. She saw the lynxes, who are the bad guys in the film, and she goes, that's exactly like how certain societies exert control over people today. And I just looked across at her and I smiled, and then, you know, I just squeezed her hand. It's like, I don't disagree with that, but it's like, let me try and make an analogy that y'all can understand. If you and your best friend are watching a basketball game and y'all like watching basketball together, would you raise your eyebrow if your friend goes, you see? And that's why Michael Jordan shot the basket, shot that three-pointer. Because when the ball goes through the hoop from that distance, it's 3 points. And that's more than 2 points. You'd be like, okay. That's kind of the feeling, right? It's like, yes, there are probably currents of control embedded in families or organizations or secret societies that exert some control. Yes. But like, what the hell relevance does that have relative to the movie and seeing something that is like just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit potentially evocative? You get what I'm saying? Like, you could do that about everything in every film or piece of media that you consume. Right? Like, it's just like, but why is that notable in that moment? Right? Because if you think about it, you could do that for everything in that movie. You'd be like, you see how they use the reptiles as like an analogy for certain cultures and races? You see how the police in the film kind of mirror the real life police? You see how, yes, that's the whole point. Shakira is a fucking gazelle in the movie. Yes, the curvy gazelle kind of looks like Shakira. It's like, that's the whole point. They are trying to reflect facets of the world. But like, it's weird to fixate on just one comparison. No? I mean, the whole point of Zootopia is to kind of like create a semblance of like what culture and humans do today, but like, you know, in the stereotypical kind of way of like each particular animal or family of animals, rather, right? Like reptiles versus mammals, you know, aquatic versus terrestrial, right? The whole thing is meant to be a spoof slash commentary on society. And so when you sit there and you go, that is like real life, it's like, yeah, the whole thing is like supposed to be loosely mirrored on stuff in real life. Like, what? Right? It'd be the same if I'd done the Shakira thing. And I'd be like, you see that gazelle? Yeah, Shakira's the voice. And you see how the gazelle's curvy? Just like Shakira. Coincidence? It's like, what? I feel like a vampire? In what way? If I look the same at age 67, are you going to think I'm a vampire? The sad part is, if you really wanted to make the vampire analogy, you could say that blood transfusion shit that they do in Silicon Valley is like vampirism, right? But no, you say I'm a vampire, even though I don't fucking drink blood. if you were legit married to Amouranth, Nicolay, your fixation, I think I could understand. What do you mean if I'm legitimately married? I'm definitely what? Bro, the reason why I know it wasn't figurative was because, okay, I'll give you the two examples, okay? Because at first I was like, she's got to mean figurative, right? I'm like, she's got to mean figurative. There's just no way. It's a terrible analogy, but like, she's got to mean figurative, okay? And then at one point, okay, ready? And the sad part is her reference point for vampires is Twilight. Not Dracula. It's Twilight. Because at one point, I remember there was a closet that we don't use as much in this house. And I went to it and the door was jammed. I couldn't open the closet door. And I was like pulling. And then you hear like a... And what happened is I pulled the door because the wood in the frame was a little bit, I guess, moist, so rotten. So I pulled one of the hinges out of the door frame. And then she went, the vampires in Twilight are super strong. I was like, what? You know? That's not fucking normal, man. And the second time, also Twilight related. I was talking to the staff, and this is back, and this is sad a little bit, but like she really wanted to do a streamed wedding with me as one of the big splash, make a big splash things when she went right back to Twitch, right? And so someone was saying, well, how do we want to frame, you know, the vows and the things, right? And I was like, you know, I mean, we'll just frame it like this. It's like, you know, we have been working together at this for a long time. There's been ups and downs, but like, you know, we're resolved to be a team, you know, and, you know, we're ready to take on the future, you know, together. And then my employee, who was one of my better employees ever, it's one of the top 3 best ones, she was like, but is that a compelling love story, or like a compelling enough story to get people invested in watching a streamed wedding? And I shrugged and I said, it's still a better love story than Twilight. And Kait overheard that, and she goes, a vampire reference. I was like, what? And those texts of her recalling that situation made it back to the lawyer. And his only response was, you know, I'll add it to the file. That motherfucker was a conniving motherfucker. You know, even though she was going on this vampire tangent, that dude had his daggers ready, and he was trying to file a motion with the court to disallow me to live at my own home even before the asset division, because I might pose a serious risk to her. Because she texted him that I might be a vampire. You know what? That reminds me. I'm going to put $10,000 more in the retainer to sue that ex-employee. Give me a second. That was wild. That was pretty wild. That was a wild attempted motion. No, we've already made up. I just said, I mean, you probably weren't here, but I said earlier that we're the best we've been, like, maybe for forever. I'm just reflecting on the situation and trying to explain. I mean, earlier today I was saying that, like, it feels like things are the best they've ever been, ever in my life, across the board, including my relationship. And it's crazy to me that the thing I really enjoy doing, which is streaming, I wasn't even doing at an earlier point this year or at any other prior point in my life. And that our relationship was so roller coastery that I saved her life, and then we were on this, like, honeymoon period for like a couple of weeks. And then I was the most hated fucking, you know, vampire in existence. And now we're back to being good again, with only ever so slightly the occasional wisp of, like, is everything fine? You know? God, I hate that motherfucker so much. Can you imagine that? Dude saves his wife from 3 armed gunmen, probably saving her life. Within 60 days, you're trying to convince a judge the dude is a fucking threat to her. He needs to not be in the home. Can you actually, like, I can't even fathom that. It's like, but if he wasn't home that day, then your client is not even here. What are we saying? You think that your client is unsafe because he made a Twilight joke? Yeah, I know they're scumbags, they just want money. But isn't that crazy? Like, as a lawyer, and maybe that's why I'm not a lawyer, that would give me the heebie-jeebies to even engage in that. It's like, on one hand, you have allegations of being a vampire. And you're going to turn that into this guy needs to be evicted from his own home because he's a danger to his wife, whose life he just saved during a home invasion. Bro, you want me out of the house because of a Twilight joke? I don't know. I can think of, like, a lot of reasons why, clearly, demonstrably, me being home resulted in her being alive today. Do you get what I'm saying, though? I like it. That's a hard one to even settle in my mind. See, it's not like I laid a hand on her. It's not like I was destroying something in the house. It's not like I was making violent statements. No, it was that she suspects me of being a vampire, and the lawyer was trying to twist that into something that was actionable, despite the fact that the thing that he said, you know, the fear was, which is that I might harm her, is demonstrably untrue because I just saved her life. What are we talking about here? Like, I feel like demonstrated actual reality shows that, like, she's better off with me being here. But you're going to talk about Twilight. God, some of y'all are so fucking retarded. He knows I only drink human blood. Is that true, Bacon? Please don't tell my wife that my favorite delicacy in Asian cuisine is pig's blood. In fact, I might order that for dinner tomorrow. Apparently took it wrong, water on the bridge. I mean, it is water under the bridge, but like, in my defense, the way you took it wrong was literally the way I prefaced what I said by saying, I don't want you to take it this way. Start point. It's like, I cannot, like, basically what you're asking is that I not express something that I feel. Because there's no form factor for expressing it, so that you wouldn't feel like that statement overweighed the action. Like, think about it for a second. No matter how much the words might sting, even when I prefaced it, I still took action when it was time to take action. You can't fake that. Anyone can say something that they don't mean when they're angry. I'm not even saying I said that, by the way. I'm saying that anyone, it's very reasonable, and we understand that some humans, your friend, your spouse, your mother, your dad, your father, your brother, anyone when angry might say something they don't mean. That's a very axiomatic truth. Now you try and tell me that someone who's willing to risk their life for your life is just posturing. Impossible. Impossible. Because you can't posture that. You can't put your life on the line for someone else's life as a ploy. There ain't nothing more valuable than your life. Do you understand that? And so it shouldn't have mattered what I said, even though I still say that, like, what I said could not have been taken that way unless you're being hyper dishonest about it. You know, like I literally said, I don't want you to take it this way, but here's this thing. And then you go, I guess I took it the wrong way, when you literally took it the way I said, don't take it this way. It's not what I mean. I prefaced it. It came before the statement. You know? And if you actually, which I still don't think you have, if you actually listen to the words that I'm saying, there's a very specific reason why I'm saying it. It's because I wanted to be able to talk to you and resolve issues. But you kept paving over, you know, what I was saying by saying, no, let's not talk about that. It doesn't matter. You saved my life. And I'm just like, dude, how can me saving your life mean that all of our issues don't need to be resolved? And that our communication should break down because saving your life is, you know, obviously, you know, overshadowing any future need to communicate. It doesn't make any sense. Here's what I said, okay? I said, I don't want you to take it the wrong way, because I definitely do not wish that you were not saved. It's just sometimes I wish I wasn't the one who saved your life. You are, okay, I'm just gonna be honest, you're a fucking asshole if you take that any other way. Because I'm saying that I wish it was like, I don't know, a police officer was going by and he saw the guys breaking in and he saved your life. That's what it means. I said literally, I don't want you to take it the wrong way, because obviously if it is about saving your life, yes, of course. But sometimes I wish it wasn't me who saved it. You see, that doesn't say I'm saying I wish you died. What that says is that sometimes I wish you weren't treating me so differently for having done it that way. Because you'd also still be alive if someone else saved you. Do you understand that? For you to be like, so you want me to die? It's like, and then for that to escalate to, so you're gonna plot to kill me. It's like, not even, we're not even in the same galaxy. I didn't actually say I wish the cop saved her. I just said I wish it was anybody else who stepped in and saved you, and it wasn't me, because it seems like because it is me, you're saying that that warrants us not ever talking or trying to resolve an issue because they're not important. The sad part is this, right? Obviously, in every relationship, communication's key, right? Imagine if you're dating someone or you're married to someone, and then you go, hey, this thing you did, it makes me unhappy or uncomfortable. And your partner says, it doesn't matter. We're more important than that. I won't talk about it. It's like, well, that's very high roady of you, but it's me that feels the problem. If it was you that felt the problem and you resolved it by saying, but us is more important than this unresolved feeling, sure, but you can't choose to sacrifice someone else's grievance. Do you understand that? I feel like you don't. It's the same thing as when, like, two people are talking about an issue and one has unresolved feelings and the other one says, no, it's resolved. It's like, bro, you're in denial. Because if one person feels like it's not resolved, then it's not resolved. It's the person who doesn't feel like it's resolved. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like the same. I'll give you an example. It's like saying, like, are we on the same page? You know? And then, you say, yes, we both agree that there's no demons. And then you'd be like, no, I don't agree with that. And I'd be like, too late, it's resolved. It's like, what? No. Just because you throw the word resolved on it doesn't mean it's done. Doesn't mean that we are actually in, harmony on the merits. Do you understand that? Like, when you say that, you're not being truthful. When you say, like, I misunderstood. No. You twisted the words in a way that served you, is what you did. And I won't accept anything less than that. Because there's no way. There is no way you could misinterpret it that badly. It doesn't even make sense. Unless you're disputing the words I said. I literally said, obviously, I want your life to have been saved, but sometimes I wish it wasn't my actions that saved it. How does that anywhere ever equate to, so you wish I died? Like, do you get that? Like, you can't take that the wrong way. The very premise of the statement implies that your life is saved. Why guy? Let's use your version. Yes, if I encounter 3 armed guys and I save my own life defending my house, still a hero. Take your fucking dick out of your asshole. But yeah, Kate, would you like to address the chat? Because I'm down with that explanation. Like, that doesn't chart reality to me. That does not chart reality to me. To say that, like, I took it the wrong way, apparently I took it the wrong way. It's like, dude, what do you mean apparently you took it the wrong way? None of that could be taken that way because the statement itself is referencing you being saved. Wow, crazy's in the fucking chat. Crazy's in the fucking chat. What is your opinion on it, Kait? Go for it. I'm not going to be... For me, this issue is not resolved unless you're going to share with the class. Are you sticking with what you said earlier? Because I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with you still claiming that you took it the wrong way. No, you... What is wrong with you right now? As you premised? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Why are you talking so fucking weird? Water under the bridge as I premised. That's, okay, first of all, you said it after your statement, so it's not a premise. What I said was a premise. You see how, like, this is so fucking twisted? You're literally saying that, like, well, even though I said the thing after I made my point, this is a premise. It's like, not really. But if you take it that way, then certainly if I say something before my point, it's definitely a premise, is it not? My point is that it absolutely is the case that you, in that moment, for whatever reason, right? Maybe you weren't yourself, maybe you were emotionally distressed, but there is no fucking way that I could have communicated more clearly what I had meant. The only alternative would be to not communicate what I meant and what I was feeling. Because I just don't understand how someone can twist me saying, like, as verbatim as I can get, it's not that I don't want you to be saved, because obviously I want you to be saved. It's just sometimes I wish it wasn't me who saved you. That's literally saying that, like, you know, I wish a police officer had stepped in. I wish a neighbor had heard and rushed over. Whatever, right? But to take that and say, so you want me to die, is like, I don't see how you get there. I don't think it's possible to get there. That's the part that I would like corrected. What do you mean, but why? I was explaining to you guys, because every time I would have preferred that alternative. Yeah, I mean, Yes, but I just feel like during our fight, for you to question and say, maybe I do want you killed, is like, okay, that's a whole, like, it's one thing to be like, my husband wishes he didn't save me, which is already established to be untrue and could not be taken that way. But it's like, to go from my husband wish he didn't save my life to my husband is plotting to kill me. You have to understand that that is like, that's a whole nother galaxy again, right? Like, it's like, I would not have been nearly as troubled if you had just been like, what? You didn't want me to be saved, and left it there. But you went a step further and you said, I don't know, I could see you wanting me killed. It's like, you realize that saying that is what gave Ryan the ammunition to file that motion with the court, right? That statement did it. Do you understand that? I don't know if you ever like thought about it and clicked and be like, well, a Twilight joke doesn't do it. My husband being super strong and resembling a vampire doesn't do it. Do you know what causes someone to have the ammunition to file that with a court? It would be a statement such as, my husband wants me killed. That is the one. It's like, that's why I was like so confused, and like, I think we shouldn't mince words about it here. Okay? Again, I said a statement with a premise, you ignore the premise. It's like, that's like unfortunate. But it's like, you know, it can happen. But to jump again to, you don't want me to be saved. Okay, that's a jump. But like, again, sure, emotions are high. But then to jump again to be, I could see you wanting me killed. It's like, okay. Never did I say anything that could be interpreted that way. You understand that, like, when someone says that, like, that has major ramifications, both socially and legally, right? Like, you can't just say, I could see my spouse wanting me killed, and like, that's the fucking end of it. No, it's not a weird thing to say to my wife, because the context is that every time I tried to say, hey, can we talk about this, referring to an issue that we were experiencing concurrently, she would say, it's not worth it, you saved my life. Do you not understand that? That's a weird thing to say. You see, you're assuming that what I said is the first peculiar thing. Not understanding that peculiar things beget peculiar things. I mean, imagine that, right? Like, it doesn't even have to be saved your life. It's like, let's say, I don't know, your spouse saved you the last piece of pizza. She goes, oh, there's one more piece of pizza, but you can have it. Could you imagine if she goes, hey, I feel like we're not communicating very well. Can we talk about it? And then you go, it's not worth it. You saved me the last piece of pizza. It'd be like, okay, but why does that mean we can't talk about it? Because it pales in comparison to you giving me that last piece of pizza. Eventually you get to the point where you're like, well, sometimes I wish you hadn't given me that pizza, because then we could talk about these things. Now you've entered my mindset. I was like, listen, You keep saying I've saved your life. It's like a chant at this point. Can we like dispense with that just for a second and talk? And you'd be like, no, it's not that important. You saved my life. That's the important part. You're demurring every, attempt at communication I made. And so, of course, I'm going to, in exasperation, I'm going to be like, it's not even a question I want your life saved. It's just sometimes, and sometimes being the times when you're demurring talking about the issues. Sometimes, I wish it wasn't me so that you couldn't say that. Zero, Addy. I don't know how to put that in any more blunt of a way. I wish you could just come clean about that part. It's like, I understand all of the taking things in a way that they could not be taken. But that's a jump. It is a jump. And it is a jump to the level where words start to lose all meaning. Okay? Because, you could be like, well, technically anyone could want to kill anyone, and I could see the motive. It's like, dude, okay, stop. Then that's a meaningless statement. Right? I know you said you took it wrong, but I'm saying that even if you took that wrong, it is another galaxy, if not universe, to take my husband, which is a wrong take already. My husband says he wished he didn't save me. That's not even what I said. But let's say that you took it that way. It's another thing to say on stream, basically knowing that you're sending the clip to your lawyer, which you did. It's another thing to say on stream in front of, 7,000 people, and then send the clip to your lawyer that I could see my husband wanting me killed. Can you see how even if I had said, I wish I didn't save you, that does not mean I wish I had you killed. That is a whole nother level of commission. Do you not understand the difference, or do you? No, I'm not in a loop. I'm trying to explain it slightly differently to get the point across, because it seems like she's either avoiding the issue or she's actually not understanding. And I'm going to take the more charitable view, which is that she's not understanding. Like, what do you do when you're talking to someone and they keep missing what you're saying? Like she says, I said I took it the wrong way. It's like, yeah, no, I understand that and I accept that. That part's past for me, but like, you gotta admit that, like, someone saying they wish they didn't save your life, which is not what I said, but someone saying that is not writ large for you to accuse them of plotting to have you killed. That's pretty wild. Can you see that? Like, that's not warranted that is like more than a reach. That is just lying. And the only defense of that would be you retreating to a place where, you know, language is basically meaningless, and you go, well, you know, it's not a jump because I could see a reason anyone could want any other person killed, is the only real defense. In which case it's like, sure, but why are you expressing it on stream and then sending it to your lawyer? I don't understand. I mean, I guess it's like fine because you don't write crime novellas, but like, bro, what? The motherfuckers had extended magazines. They had the gun to your head. What are you talking about? They messed it up. That's just them not doing it. But also, why would you think if I was plotting an inside job and those guys messed it up, A, did I know they messed it up? B, if I knew they messed it up, then my plan is to go shoot my co-conspirators? But shoot them in such a way that it was measured and controlled because my priority was not to hit you. Oh wait, that already doesn't jive. Wouldn't I just mag dump down the stairwell? That's the two birds with one stone. Like, it doesn't make sense to be like, and he gingerly, you know, was very careful to take only controlled shots. No, I mean, we had a panic room and I could have gone in and locked myself in and they'd never get to me. That's the thing I'm saying. Like, it's like, I chose a course of action and I chose engagement. I didn't have to choose engagement. There's two easy ways I could have chosen not engagement. I'm not arguing logic. I'm trying to explain that, like, it is an unfair way too light. It is a untrue statement to say that, especially in the context, to 7,000 people, then sending the video to your lawyer, saying that I could see my husband plotting to have me killed. That's an untrue statement. That wasn't the state of psychosis. I mean, I feel like in a state of psychosis, you're not cogent enough to be like, and I gotta send this to my lawyer immediately to be used. I don't think that's how that works. If you're thinking of a legal maneuver, then you're probably not in a state of psychosis. Because you're saying you're activating the strategic part of your mind. Right? Ironically, the bird did see it all because the birds were flying around my room the night of the incident. They literally saw everything. It's also partly why I'm not as scared of Bagon doing something nuts if I'm shooting fireworks. because she didn't do something nuts when I shot a gun. I'm just saying, I don't know. It's hard for me to see it as just, oh, I misunderstood, when it felt like the thing was farmed. You stated it in front of as many people as possible, and then you try to calcify it by having your lawyer make sure that he got the clip, and then that very lawyer went and filed something with the court that would be leaning on that assertion that was untrue that you made to do legal action. I feel like that is the part that is a fabrication of the truth, and then using it in a pretty self-serving way. Like, you realize that, right? Like, when you said, oh, I didn't realize they're filing a motion, it's like you gave them, it's like you're sitting there handing someone a bullet to put in a gun, and you go, well, I didn't realize he was going to put the bullet in the gun. What do you think the guy holding the gun, reaching his hand out for the bullet, is doing? You know? You gave it to a lawyer who's paid to do stuff on billable hours. He's gonna do stuff. Do you get that? Like, it's like putting a fox in the hen house and saying, I didn't know he was gonna eat the chickens. It's like, I don't think that is a valid defense for the action. I mean, let me ask you in another tact. What were you hoping for him to do with that clip? Can you explain that to me? Like, what were you intending for that to affect? Like, okay, fine. You say that's not the intent. I can see that. So what was the intent? Like, why say that statement to 7,000 people and then save the clip and send it to your lawyer? Like, if you really search your memory and your feelings, there's really only one possible answer. And I don't feel particularly settled if you cannot see that. Because that tells me that it could happen again. Kate, do you have an answer at all, or what are you doing? Hello? No, I just want to reach a point where it can be resolved. Like, I understand that that was a avoidable and difficult to fathom misunderstanding. The part about saying, oh, well, despite you saying, you know, you definitely want me to be saved, because that's what I said. I said, I definitely want you to be saved. I just wish sometimes that I wasn't the one who actually saved you. You see, it's about the attribution of who saved you, not if you were saved. But then for you to take that and jump to the, and the context matters here. You're talking to 7,000 people. You know you're talking to 7,000 people. And I try to give you every out in the book. If you watch the clip, I go, okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying, like, you could see it like how anyone could do anything. Right? And then you go, no, I could see you because it's like, it's not good there. You cannot use my statement to support the fact that I might be plotting. Because I ain't never fucking I have never done anything that remotely resembles, because I haven't plotted. Would you like to comment on that? Or should I work myself up further? No, fuck that. I mean, I was talking to you guys. She chimed in chat. It's the reason why I have an issue with it, because I thought we were on the same page on this. Which is that, obviously, there's a misunderstanding. Obviously, the misunderstanding should have been avoidable. Obviously, I took precaution to try and avoid the mishap. But the jump of logic and the not defensible thing would be to accuse me of plotting. It doesn't even make any sense. Bro, an altered state of mind does not mean you later then, when cogent, send it as evidence. You see how maybe in the moment it was an altered state of mind. Look, I have a lot of... The reason why I know it's not, just that. The reason why I know that it was planted to have teeth as a legal maneuver is because she did the same thing with that whole bullshit about how, the contracts that I was coerced into signing. It's like, my fucking God. Are you fucking serious? That has never happened. And then it became a whole, he knew more about the contract. It's like, because I read it and I gave it to you to read, but I guess you didn't read it, but that's not my fault. What did I say? Sign it. I go, read it, and if you think it's fine, sign it. It's literally what I said every time. I have literally never been like, you should sign this. This is good if you sign it. No. I've only ever been like, read it, and if you think it's good, sign it. Like, it's literally fully balls in your court. The only thing is that I've said, I've read it, I think it's fine. You read it, if you think it's fine, sign it. That's always how it goes. Good night, Bacon. And so, like, okay, fine, altered state of mind that day, but then on another day saying that I coerced her into signing her contracts, well, what is that then? That's a legal maneuver, right? Like, and then you thought you had done something because then you went up there and you go, you see, now I have evidence. It's like, bro, the evidence you have is you saying something in a video without any confirmation. Like, that's not evidence. I can make a video right now and say something that's untrue. It doesn't make it evidence. Like, do you want me to say it right now, something that's untrue? It's like, dude, it doesn't make it evidence. It literally doesn't make it evidence. Just because it was said on a live stream, especially if it's said by the party that's asserting it, it doesn't make it evidence. But it sure does make it billable hours. Let me tell you about that. Lawyer fucking made a lot of money from it. So you're saying she magically just has psychosis every time she's, trying to legally maneuver for an outcome, huh? Is that the take? Is that the inside take? Well, no, like look, the truth is, like, it's obvious, right? Like, it's like it was a maneuver. Right? And I feel like part of it is, like, if you can admit that that's a maneuver, then at least, we can agree to, like, not do that anymore, right? Like, we can agree not to do it anymore. But if you're like, oh yeah, no, I was in an altered state. Okay, so you're saying that in a future altered state, you will also be planting things to try and use as a legal maneuver too? Because that's not a tenable situation for me. Like, that's not a tenable situation for me. Bedtime, Stephen. Because that is not a tenable situation. It's not one that makes any sense to me, and it's not one that I feel like has resolved any of the lingering issues. Okay, you're good. Listen, Kait, I just need your word. Do you want to leave this lingering, or would you like to resolve it? Which way are we going with this? Because to me, I'd want to talk about it. Because to me, it's not that simple. Okay? It's not that simple to me. It's not a simple case of like, oh, well, I wasn't myself. Yes, I understand that. But like the calculated part is that like later on you used it and then later on you did it again, right? All right, the next fucking retard that says do this and do that, let's just start banning all of them. So if you're like, resolve this off stream, ban that person going forward. I'm tired of the fucking retarded armchair quarterbacking. We're not playing armchair quarterbacks. Like, it's retarded, dude. You just go and watch something else if you feel that strongly about it. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know how the fuck this works, and you weren't there. And if you want to interrupt, you know, instead of trying to understand contextually what I'm getting at, then get the fuck out. Yeah, you might feel strongly, but like you have to understand that like nothing that I'm saying here is that crazy when you consider it within its given context. Okay? Like, can you not understand how like you doing something and it causing it, that's not even the right way to say it. If your partner refuses to engage with you on things that you feel like need to be communicated, need to be resolved, and their reason for not, you know, wanting to do that communication is because they don't think it's worth it, given, you know, in this case, because you saved my life, I don't think that issue's worth discussing. It's like, what? You can't make that determination. Because it is not you that wants to discuss it. It's me. Don't you understand that? Obviously, the default is that you don't think it's worth discussing, because otherwise you would have brought it up. And so if I bring it up, then I think it's worth discussing. And I'm trying to make the case for you for why it's worth discussing and why it's worth resolving. Of course you don't think it's worth discussing because you didn't bring it up to discuss. Right? It's like if you say, hey, look, this is concerning to me, and I'd like to talk about it. And I was like, I don't think we should talk about it because I didn't notice it. That's crazy. Can you see that? It's like, yeah, that's why you're bringing it up to talk about, because you do know that I don't notice, but you'd like to talk about it. Do you understand that or no? Like what you're saying is like, it doesn't beget any rationality. I don't think it's that wild. I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, what's not straightforward about it? An assertion was made, and then an accusation was made twice, and I have a problem with that accusation. I'd like the record corrected. What's so crazy about that? And I can already predict what she'll say. She'll be like, well, it wasn't a problem. No, actually, I think it was a problem. I think it was just that one of us is telling ourselves a lie about what transpired. And in the light of day, it doesn't really make sense. Johnny GT, you're the next one to be banned, so shut the fuck up. I don't need to fucking take advice on how to be a man from a warrior. A keyboard warrior. A paper fucking tiger. I'm about to fucking start massively banning you motherfuckers. All right, ban Spinach O2. Anyone else? Let's go. Who else? Who else? Let's just get it all over with. Who else? Also, Kate, another note. I really, 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 really want to stress this. Do not ban people in my chat without asking me. Final warning. I don't give a fuck if she banned you from her chat, you stupid motherfucker. I'm obviously talking about my chat. Fucking shit for brains, chatter. Fuck it, ban that guy too. The shit that's leaking out between his ears is starting to smell. Alright, who else? Just raise your hand. We'll get it over with. It'll be as quick and as painless as me releasing this arrow. I'm not on any Adderall right now. I'm like perennially like kind of surprised by people who don't understand that like the crashouts are part of the business, right? Like if I were to iron them out, I would just be like I used to be when I wasn't streaming. Like what you're you know, it's a funny thing because like chatters think that they're getting juicy drama, but what they're doing is they're, you know, part and parcel of an ecosystem that rewards the streamer for the engagement. And so it's like crash out. It's like, yeah, that's part of the job description. 'Cause it's boring to just be stoic about everything. Like, I mean, y'all, sometimes y'all get it. Other times y'all are retarded. And it's sad because I feel like maybe it's just a different crowd of people, right? Because I read the other day something I thought was particularly smart, which is that like someone was like, I think that Moises getting a collab with Mizkif would ruin the fun of that repartee and that, you know, kind of posturing, you know, implying situation. It would be a funny stream and then that would be it and the bit is ruined. And I thought that's so insightful because that person's right, you know? But that's also just true about like all drama and conflicts, right? The resolution of it is what kills the bit, you know? Which is weird because resolving conflict is kind of what you want to do a priori. A priori of being a streamer, right? No, I don't really have an urge to chase women. I have an urge for the woman I'm with to not malign me because she thinks it serves a purpose. I don't really care what role they occupy. I just get annoyed at seeing totally brainless drivel. Like the people who are armchairing, like, what is this accomplishing? When someone says, go to bed, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up and you go to bed. Like, what? Like, why the fuck are you trying to tell me what to do? You know? Nope, I'm 48. I'm 88. I'm a motherfucking vampire. But I'm a good vampire. Like Edward. God damn it. Yeah, shit. How do I resolve this? Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. Not my problem. Just Kait's problem. I think I'm gonna go talk to her and attempt to resolve it. But like, I don't really have all that much patience for kind of the way it has been going. And I feel like I'm almost of the opinion that's like, fuck it, dude. Like, I'm just gonna pour all of my energy and time into the streaming and just not worry about anything else. I mean, it saves time if I functionally don't have a relationship, I guess. Because I don't see it as a relationship for this level of I really think that, like, if you go and you make that kind of accusation about someone, first of all, it's kind of just offensive. Secondly, it's very character maligning. And so I don't think you can be tactful and gingerly step away and saying, well, you know, I was in an altered state. No. Yes, that might be true, but you don't get to accuse someone, okay, of something like that for no reason. It doesn't matter what state. Like, that's just not a thing. You know? Maybe open the door sequel, right? How does it feel knowing that no matter how shitty of a partner I am, your queen will never love you? There's a sale going on her OnlyFans. You can find the love there. Unless you run out of money, in which case the love will be on pause until your next paycheck. Quickly now, there's an RM watch I would like to buy. no. Excuse me. Excuse you. I'm not being mean. I'm offering a discount. The fuck are you talking about? I'm not saying I'm doing a markup. I have sex as often as I want it. Simple as that. Yeah, well, so is your mom. The difference is your mom don't make millions of dollars. She does that shit for free. Because she's a sloot. What fun. What fun it is to troll and sing a Slay in Your Mom song tonight. Oh.